Okay, let's do an overview of fractions. Now, there are two types of operations that typically you'll do with fractions. One is the operation of addition, and really, if you think about it, addition is the same thing as subtraction. They're really basically the same operation, so we think of those as the same thing. And the other kind of operation you do is multiplication, and really multiplication is the same thing as division. So these are the two types of operations that we do with fractions. Now, typically multiplication and division is the harder operation to do. Usually you learn that after you learn addition and subtraction. But in the case of fractions, actually multiplication and division is easier. Let me show you why. Okay, let's give an example here. Okay, 1/3 times 2/5. Here's how you multiply those two fractions. All you have to do is multiply the tops across to get 1 times 2 makes 2, right? And then multiply the bottoms to get, in this case, 15. And that's your answer. 1/3 times 2/5 is 2/15. That's pretty easy, wasn't it? Now let's go over here to the other side, and this time let's take those same two fractions, but now let's add them. So 1/3 plus 2/5. Well, here's the thing. What you have to do when you're adding fractions is you have to make sure this bottom number is the same on both fractions. It's called the denominator, and it's what we call the LCD, or the least common denominator. You have to find the number, the smallest number that you can think of that goes into both of these numbers. Now we'll do a whole different video on how to find those numbers, but in this particular case, I'll just cut to the chase and show you how to do it. So what you have to do is you have to multiply 5 over here to get 15, and over here you have to multiply a 3. So the LCD is 5 times 3, which is 15. Now in fractions, what you have to do is if you multiply the bottom of a fraction by a number, you have to make sure you multiply the top of the fraction by the same number, otherwise you broke the rules. So here what we have to do, we have to change this fraction on the left into 5 times 1, which is 5, over 5 times 3, which is 15. So 5, we turned the fraction 1/3 by multiplying by a 5 on top and on bottom. We turned it into 5 over 15. Now over here, same thing. What we do is we multiply the bottom by a 3, and then that makes us have to multiply the top by a 3 also. And so you get 2 times 3, which is 6, and 5 times 3, which is 15. And so this is your new problem. The problem in green is my new problem. Instead of thinking of this as 1/3 plus 2/5, now we're going to think of it as 5/15 plus 6/15. And you can check with your calculator, and you'll see that these numbers are the same. 2/5, if you put 2 divided by 5 in your calculator, you'll get the same thing as if you put 6 divided by 15 in there. But what we had to do was make the denominators the same. So now that we have the same denominator on both of those, because we're adding it, now what we can do is we can just add the tops. 5 plus 6 gives you 11. So 11 goes on top, and then the 15, you don't add those. It's actually both of those are over that same denominator. So 5/15 and 6/15 makes 11/15. Now you tell me, which one was harder, addition or multiplication? Definitely addition was harder, and that's what you have to remember with fractions. Multiplication is a lot easier of fractions because you just simply multiply across, and addition is harder because you have to do this LCD thing. Now we'll talk about that more in another video.